Hey, you already know what it is. Your boy NorrisRashawn, the beautiful one. Hey, check this out. Hey, this is to the women. Of course, I love you ladies. I love to have these dialogues with you. I was speaking to a young lady, actually two or three of them, very intellectual, spiritual individuals. And they said, we're in the year of the nine, right? And so we would talk about like, the divine nine, the feminine, and we had a conversation about the woman being God. Um, and in the beginning, like I used to think a lot about like the purpose of a man and the purpose of a woman, right? And so for a moment, I was under the conclusion, and I could still be wrong, but however, this is what my spirit is saying. So this is the reason why I had to reach out to my people, to my family, to my community to see what you guys think about it. The woman being God, the average woman today doesn't have the attributes of God. Okay. Number one, men create, like men make babies. The woman carries the babies. Just like women raising children. A woman, and I'm not saying that there's not women out here that hasn't raised children, and especially a man, right? Correctly. However, you don't see women that are able to properly impute the correct knowledge and upbringing in men. On the flip side of it, though, a man can raise a man and a woman. So that's number one. Okay. And the respect that the children have for the mother is very great. It's very great. And it kind of, for me, brings me back to how the woman is taken care of in the world. Well, at least in America, right? Because I know there's other places. I had got put on the other day. It was like, yeah, in Dubai, it's the opposite. I'm like, wow, these women are living crazy, right? Um, but as we should all know, where we're at right now, which is America. I don't know anybody whoever is not in America. This doesn't apply to you. Um, America is the ancient city, the Egypt. They tell you to go back to Africa, and this is just my perspective. Africa is where the white men came from, for me, because they push that narrative too much. And anytime that the masses push something, it's usually the opposite, right? And this is no disrespect to anyone that's white, because I don't feel like people have a color for me. Um, but however, I feel like Africa is where the white man came from, and I know that America or Egypt or Kemet is where we come from. So the man impregnates a woman, and the woman gives birth. Okay, the woman gives birth. However, the thing she gives birth to, she can't properly raise, especially if it's a young man. Okay? So I know that there's things about a woman that a man could never duplicate, copy, like hands down, a woman has a very unique and powerful job. But however, one of the most famous um, stories in the Bible, which is the beginning, is Adam and Eve. And you have this young lady, which is Eve, talking to the devil. Now let this sink in. This is not saying that this is facts, but I'm bringing it to you guys as my community because I know I have a lot of intellectual people and spiritual people that's on my line, and so I want to know what you guys think about it. Um, she spoke to the devil, right? And then you see this. That's the only time that she directly, what they say, spoke to the devil. But and when we talk about the devil, for me, I'm thinking like high frequencies, vibrations, low vibration, God, devil, Um, because yes, there is a God, but the only thing or any only person that's gonna save you is you, right? So I'm saying, and now we look at the women today and they 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 destroy men. And in the Bible, all you heard about is men being destroyed, by their woman. Samson, he cut his hair. Job, she tried to get him to, turn his back on God. Just these things, right? Eve, she ate the apple after he told, God told Adam, yo, don't eat that. So I'm saying everything's a balance in life, and it's like the yin and the yang. So if there's a yin and a yang, if especially someone that's in the spiritual community, and I'm not saying I'm the greatest, but I know enough to know, right? Would it be safe to say, and let me know, would it be safe to say that the woman has more of a relationship with the devil than the man does? Because all through the Bible, you hear the man speaking to God. Now, I know that they took out certain shit when it comes to women. You know what I mean? Of course, I know this. I'm so not taking away from you. However, I need to know what you guys' thoughts on this is. And please don't come in my DMs trying to defend a woman. Let's have a conversation about what's going on, because it's not nothing about defending. But you have multiple women that are out here doing devilish things. And for me, in just my own life, I do a lot for women. And those same women that I do a lot for, they turn around and hate on me. They turn around and try to destroy me. So please don't try to defend something that is a proven fact. I just want you guys to give me your opinion on what you think it is that I'm asking. And the question is, do you think the woman today or the woman in general has a closer relationship with her lower self or the devil? And you guys that are Christian, I was just reading something. It was telling me about people that go to church and they be saying hallelujah. And I think he said, don't quote me. He said it the devil's name, or Lucifer name, was Halu. And in Hebrew, you was your, and Yah is God. So every time that a person saying hallelujah is saying Satan's your God or Satan's my God, don't quote me. I haven't did research on it. So I'm just saying, and I was dating this girl that used to do that shit. And I used to be like, right? I grew up in the church. Don't get it twisted. I did Islam. I'm well connected. So for those people in the community that know a little bit more than I do, because I'm not a scholar, hit me up. I would love to know what your thoughts are on this subject. Okay? But until next time, peace.